Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Matt and John Make a Podcast. This is episode 90 of the podcast. Got we got a few things that I'm pretty excited for this week, but the first of which Matt, we had a NXT Takeover on Sunday night, um, which
Yes.
overall I thought was a pretty good show, but man, did this freaking crowd suck?
Oh my God.
But it was horrible.
Yes.
like like
I
how
the I
like
I'm
how yeah,
you go.
okay. So pretty much how I put it is if we even had a decent crowd, this is what we looked at as a pretty damn good takeover. One of the more funner shows yet, but man,
I
they just sucked the life out of everything on this damn show.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the same people that are there every Tuesday. Uh, I, I don't know. I almost kind of wish there was the fake crowd noise at times. Um, so
Right?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. But besides that, I thought it was. I thought out of cards in the past, if you look at every takeover, I thought uh, on card strength, if you will, maybe the weaker of those shows, but still I knew it was going to deliver, um, and it did. And it was a solid show, the best what you can get from um, that card as it stood, and that's all you can ask for. It's just a pretty solid show.
Yeah. And if we're just talking strictly about the matches, I don't really have anything to really complain about.
The Yeah,
Every single one of these people busted
yeah,
their asses here. Honestly, the only match I really just didn't care for was Xia Li
yeah,
versus Mercedes.
yeah, and that was yeah,
Everything else, I felt I felt was just really good, and which and we'll just get right into it. We kicked off with a six-man tag. Between MSK and Bronson Reed versus Legado del Fantasma. A really exciting opener. I mean, no real surprise. I didn't think that we were going to be seeing
nope,
any title changes here, and the fact that they gave it as winner takes all. I was like, well, pretty much a dead give a way here in plus 2 read. Had like he had him and MSK both actually won their titles what a month or so ago.
yeah,
um MSK maybe a little bit farther back, but from that standpoint, I was like, we probably aren't getting any title changes here, but these guys worked hard. The only thing that kind of sucks is for Santos Escobar, it's like, well, if you weren't going to have realistically win here, I would have kind of preferred that he wouldn't be in the match per se, but that's just a
yeah.
minor
I think
nitpick here,
that's and they left it open, and you saw uh,
Right.
on Tuesday uh, that they're going to have a one-on-one program, and I knew that at the ending when Bronson Reed just killed Santos through the barricade and all that. That looked
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, so that wiped him out. So his partners got the pin. I forget who got the pinfall, but MSK obviously wins there. Uh, right choice. Yeah, it's too soon for any of them to lose right now. Um, but yeah, and then we have more tag teams coming, like fighting for that number one contendership.
Champa,
Champa
to
and
me, Champa
yeah,
and Thatcher are probably are going are going to like be being champions here. Just I feel like they have a ton of like momentum
Yeah,
now, and especially after NXT on Tuesday, like
they're like the
them
hottest
and
tag team. Like I love everything about them. They're just badasses.
right,
Uh,
and they stand out from everyone else, which is that's the main thing that I really look at because the sheer um intensity that they have, whether it's in their matches or in, in their backstage segments, like it's like just really good stuff. And we'll get into it
yeah,
NXT this week
and
too because I also did feel it was a like really good
yeah,
show
and and
this
and
week too.
and not to harp too much on this, but I think this is what Thatcher needed. The program with Ciampa and like this tag team, they work really well together, and just has some more. His character has more life to it
Oh yeah,
in this, so that was good.
him. Hey, yeah, like as we said, they just really feed off of
Yeah,
each
they
other.
just come off as
Um,
badasses.
right.
Yeah,
So then we get Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. Didn't really care about this. And the whole thing at the end, I just wasn't crazy about with them with Tian Shaw basically choking Mercedes and throwing her off of the NXT ramp. I don't know how you felt about this, man, but
I'm
not something I particularly cared
I'm
about here.
I'm giving it a chance because it was the first. Oh, she actually did something moment.
Right.
I want to see. I mean, Mercedes took a hell of a bump. It
Yeah.
really had nothing to stop her besides ground. Um, I I'm I'm giving it a chance. I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. But I thought this after that opening match, I thought this was the perfect match. Of a cool down match. I think it was placed perfectly right after the open. Solid match, and yeah, Xia Li gets the win. She needed the win more than Mercedes to get momentum on their side. Xia Li and Tia Shawn and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's pretty
Yep.
much it.
All
Did it?
right.
It did its job.
Yep. All right. We'd had a ladder match for the of with the winner being the new $1 million champion. I will say this did a lot better than I thought that it was going to. I just think that like Cameron Grimes has been like just steadily getting better each and every week here. I think he's like one other top baby faces right now. And perfectly honest, I could see him possibly challenging for a like singles title here soon. Um, would not surprise me, but I think it's pretty clear. They're based on how things went on NXT, him and Ted are going to be having some form of a like partnership or something there.
Hmm.
So,
I
he took some
especially the
nasty
end.
falls here. Like, yeah, like it just.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they did everything that they could to bring this freaking dead crowd back to life, and for a small time they did, but then they went back into comatose state. um, which was a theme for the night. But man, I really like this match. I would say between this and the Fatal Five Way were probably match
I,
of the night here. But
yeah.
I mean, very solid, and I felt like that LA Knight winning was also
Yeah, that's the
the
only.
absolute right
Yeah,
call.
it's the right way. Like I who that championship is pretty much a heel championship. Like look at what is the FTR champ? Is it FTR champion? FTR
Yeah,
combined
yeah, yeah.
FTW championship. That's
It's basically that.
yeah. It's
It's
basically
basically
what it is. It's not an actual championship. It's just a prop, if you will.
that. Hmm.
And LA Knight is the heel. He plays it great. Especially on Tuesday. I was like, okay, okay, that's too nice.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
he has that cocky attitude. Great little first main storyline for him,
Mhm.
or second, whatever. Um, but prominent spot, and in Cameron Grimes will do the chasing,
Yeah,
and then
which I feel is where he's going to really shine in that here. I mean, like he's been killing every single segment
yeah,
like he's been in. To be
he
perfectly honest, he's been one of the few things that really stands out on NXT right now. So far as from a entertainment standpoint, it's been
yeah,
pretty
the last several weeks,
consistent,
at least the
right?
build up, he's been good.
Mhm.
And this, the whole like GameStop thing, stock thing back a
Was
month
the
or so
best
ago
thing.
that
It was the
happened to
best
him.
thing
He
that
took it
happened
and
to
he
him.
ran it, and he's got a
It got
gimmick, and
over.
that's
Got
what
over.
you sometimes you just need one moment.
Yeah.
This is not a one-to-one comparison, but just think of Stone Cold winning King of the Ring when he wasn't supposed to, and he had like
Mhm.
that when it was supposed to be Triple H, but the whole um, current call thing,
Yeah.
that,
Hmm.
and obviously is again not one to one, but you need that one thing, and then you find it, and you're off. And
Or like or like Nia Jax shattering shattering Becky Lynch's
yes,
nose
D-
on the
Daniel
on the
Bryan
spot. Yep.
begin beat in 18 seconds, and
Yep.
you just found that it's what things in the moment you think are crap, not even crap,
Hmm.
it's too strong of a word, are meaningless, but look what happens. So
Yeah.
they took it, they got something over it, he got over, and it's
Hmm.
entertaining. The vignettes leading up to it, and just him just being this like at first like heel rich dude, but turned sympathetic. Like that was organic, like
Yeah.
legit organic, and it's great. It's a way big difference from a year ago
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
when you couldn't
So,
stand him.
so no, no, I really couldn't. Like, I felt like it was cheesy, it was stupid, and but now, like this whole like rich thing that he
Sometimes
has
you,
going on, I think is it's just really good right now. So,
it's like a Roman Reigns. You hated him, and then he found the one thing, a character change, and now he still is the show.
yep, yep, absolutely. So, all right, then we go to the co-main event for the NXT Women's Championship. Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. Love this match here.
I,
These girls busted their asses here. I mean, like Raquel, just her and like Ember just had just awesome chemistry here. I really have like zero to complain here. This was just
at,
a really fun match. However, this goddamn crowd again just killed it. Killed it.
I think we can add that to every match
Every
from
single
now.
match on this card. It's like
It's the weekly.
seriously.
It's every week.
I know.
But anyways, up until this point, I know definitely. I thought this was my favorite match. I think for me, could have surpassed the ladder match a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, this was solid. Even though we knew, even I knew that Raquel
Raquel's
was
not
going to
losing.
win. Like
Yeah.
there was like points like you like you think, oh, wait a minute, maybe, but not, you know it's not going to happen. But it's like, oh, that false finish. You never like for a split second, it like tricks you into thinking, but you're like, God, no, it's not going to happen.
No.
But it's one of those you just enjoy it as a fan, and you get
Mhm.
caught up in like, oh. But yeah, no, this was good. Yeah, pr- a nice, just a nice women's match, a co-main event. Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
really to really complain about.
You just have to wonder where they're gonna go with like Raquel next. I'm trying to think what happened on NXT. She was just involved in a tag against
I think she might be. They might try to go for the tag titles again. In the
yeah,
meantime,
but you also saw like EO and
Candice.
or no EO and like what's her face are tagging against Candice
Yeah.
and yeah, like
So
so
they maybe a triple threat tag match,
right.
something.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think.
Triangle tag match,
Yeah, I'm trying to think for Takeover because
triangle ladder
um
match.
but
Ooh,
because I think in 2 or 3 weeks
July
is a great
6th. Yeah, like 2 days after 4th of
is a
July.
great American Bash there. So I don't think she's gonna be defending her title just because I think it's
No,
almost
that
impossible to
might be.
find a challenger for 2 weeks.
Which,
I think that they probably have some sort
that,
of like multi women tag match or
yeah,
something like that.
I would. I can see them doing some like triangle ladder match stuff on a Tuesday night. I know
Right.
that's to just the that should boost, get people tuning in, and then you can build a challenger at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I would
because
do.
yeah, they really don't have anyone right now who I feel like is like a clear cut number
No,
one contender right now.
no, because you
But
have
like
Mercedes
because
is
because
with like
because I
Xylee.
could always yeah, I mean I could always see them going with her versus EO again.
That's your safe. That's your safe
Yeah,
bet.
yeah,
That
yeah.
it's still gonna be good. Uh, that's your yeah. It could be EO. I mean, they teased it, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I really don't know. Hmm. Oh, did we lose?
These things.
Oh, you were frozen
Yeah,
there for a second.
yeah. I got the freaking pop up that said, "Hey, man, your internet is unstable."
Ah, okay.
But
But okay, we're
all
good.
right, so now we get into the main event for NXT Takeover Inner House, which pit um Karrion Cross versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano. Again, similar with the opener and with the NXT Women's Championship, with the NXT Women's Championship. I'm I pretty much felt that they were going to have Karrion Cross
Mm,
retain, but I did say if he was going to have his title dropped, that Adam Cole was probably
yeah,
the most likely guy. Uh,
yeah, true. But I feel like if somebody beats him, it should be a one-on-one match.
right. Yeah.
But they did tease at the end, which I kind of like the like little storytelling there
Hmm.
of Adam Cole. O'Reilly had was it Billy? Wait a minute. Yeah, O'Reilly had Adam Cole in a submission. I forget which like an ankle, not an ankle lock. Was it an ankle? No. Well, he had him in a submission, and Karrion Cross came up and pretty much put a sleeper on him, and O'Reilly passed out. I did like leading up to that. Slide note that when Pete Dunne did the, when he
Yeah.
breaks
Yeah.
his
With his
fingers,
finger.
Cross sold that so well, putting on like a submission, like his his
Yeah.
submission hold. Like
Yeah.
he
His
didn't
straight jacket.
yeah, straight
Yeah.
jacket. He couldn't put it on all the way, so he kind of like
Mhm.
adjusted it and did like a
Mhm.
sleeper. And
Yeah.
that was a nice little detail there
Hmm.
at the end there. But so O'Reilly had Adam Cole in the submission. Cole looked like he was going to tap, but Cross choked out O'Reilly, which protects O'Reilly that he's not tapping there. But good little foreshadowing where they're going to go with Cole and Cross there, because you're going to assume after
Yeah.
that finish that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Which, to be perfectly honest, I don't really want to see that, because the match I want to see at Takeover, and I think you would be a really big fan of this as well, is Karrion Cross versus Walter.
Yeah. Well,
Now
there's still
that's
time.
yeah.
This
Which
is
honestly,
a
I
Great American Bash thing.
okay,
I thought it
yeah,
was. Yeah.
okay, okay. I thought you were talking more about Taker, but like, do you think that is what we should get at Takeover, is Cross versus Walter?
Uh, I I I would be out of my mind to say no. It would be interesting because Walter is what held that title for 800
800
days or
days,
something,
800 days now,
and he's the only one that I can see that if he beat Karrion Cross, I wouldn't hate it. Like, there's
which is
no way
why
you could do another. I don't want to do like another winner takes all thing because we kind of just did one, but
however,
that would be a winner take all type of thing.
has
Because
to be.
honestly, I wouldn't know who would win. I couldn't definitively tell you. You could say, "Oh, it's Walter. He's been holding it for
Has to be
800
Walter.
days."
Has to be Walter. They're like, I
You
mean,
could,
like, to
but
me,
then who beats then?
if you,
See, then
yeah,
who on the
yeah,
NXT UK
I
beats
know
Walter? So that's how I'm saying I
exactly.
couldn't definitely tell you. Like, you
Well,
can make
and that's
you're making a case for Walter, and I agree with you. But at the same time, I'm like, well, Karen, like that. I want to see that because no idea who would win.
well, and the problem is too, like, they really don't have anyone in NXT who can beat either guy right now. I mean,
No,
unless you call down a Kevin Owens, or if Samoa Joe gets back in, in the ring here. I mean,
yeah,
who realistically can really beat these guys, because
I,
maybe a Keith Lee comes down, which
I,
I would not mind that,
I
because
built up. The only other one, built up, Bronson Reed, just because of the size.
right, yeah,
I think he's the only one that you can buy
Mhm.
built up that if it happened, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Um, I have we got a just a one on one with Pete Dunne and Karrion Cross yet? No,
No,
I would like to
which
see that.
I could see
I
that
know
possibly happening.
I know Cross would probably win, but I that
He's not losing to anyone
no.
not named Walter right now.
I
Like,
I really want to see that.
like,
No, I
to
want to see
me,
that.
yeah, like, to me, if I'm Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and I really want to make this takeover where, like, a home run, that is a freaking headline right there.
I think if
Yeah.
this would be better if somehow they did the takeover like on the road somewhere out of there and you get a decent sized crowd.
I know.
That's where you do it, because if this was like a regular takeover,
Yeah.
that place would lose its freaking mind.
And that's something else too. If Takeover is still going to be at the Performance Center, I don't even do this match, because to me, you can't have Walter versus Cross in front of like 300 people.
This,
Like,
you know what? I would prefer this in an ideal situation. on a WrestleMania weekend because you're going to get the European crowd with Walter, and they're going to go. They would be all
Lose
behind
their mind.
Walter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah, I mean that's also a possibility. It's just, man, like,
we don't know
yeah.
what NXT's
Well,
plans are
and
per
the problem
se.
is they really, like, if you look at NXT's main event picture, it's really bare right now, especially with with like Finn is probably is done in NXT, you would think. And like you have a like Johnny who's a heel, so obviously he probably isn't going to really figure into plans there. I mean, you can probably do Cole and like Pete Dunne. um it's just, man, there aren't too many options, which is why I think a match with a Walter makes a ton of sense. However, if you're not going to if you're not going somewhere and you're just going to stay in a PC, I would rather you just like hold off on that match, because that's too big of a headliner to like just have, as I said, in front of 300 people there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know what NXT's plans are. I don't think nobody because we know the main roster through pretty much SummerSlam. They're
Yeah.
traveling. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we'll have a pretty good idea after July 6th, which is the Great American Bash there. So
Yeah,
hopefully we get a good idea there, and we'll kind of just lead into NXT here. And Matt, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this episode. Samoa Joe to me has breathed some really fresh life, I feel, into NXT, and man, I love him in this Stone Cold Steve Austin 2003 2004 role, where he's just basically is like a like sheriff who just upholds order, um sort of say, because as we all know, the whole thing going on here is basically Regal. He can't keep order, he can't keep control. So he's contemplating resigning, and he actually offered Joe to be NXT GM there, which he turned down. How do you feel about this? With Samoa Joe coming back into
yeah.
NXT and being here.
No, I agree. I like the 2003 Stone Cold vibes. Just being the enforcer, basically for Regal, and then like choking out Cole. Like when he
That was
wakes up, tell him
great.
Regal wants to see him. Um,
When he wakes up, tell him Mr. Regal wants to. I was like, fucking badass, man. Like,
I think this is a good role for him to be
Mhm.
more physical, but yet not wrestling. Because we know the
Right.
concussions.
Yeah.
Um, I
Although they were throwing out some really big teases out there with
I
him and
think
Cross and him
Pete Dunne, Gargano.
and Pete.
Um,
Right.
I kind of want to see him in Dunn. Pretty much anybody with Dunn, I want to see. Um,
Adam Cole too. I
Adam
mean, I
Cole.
would love.
I mean, you got a perfect setup there. I guess maybe they're being cautious, and maybe he's close. I don't know. I guess
Because to me, the fact that they put him in this spot with Karen Cross makes me kind of think, I'm like, they planting the seed for possibly him versus Cross
yeah.
at the
Because
SummerSlam
why would
takeover.
Yeah, why would they say unless you're provoked? Because you know he's going to get provoked eventually,
Yeah,
and just like and Stone
yeah.
Cold did, and he got somewhat physical. I,
And to me, that is a like takeover,
that's
a takeover headliner there. Like you
hmm
can absolutely have that done there.
so who
Which
knows? Yeah.
which that would make sense there.
So who knows if he's? Guess he's not clear, but
Right.
maybe they're hoping. Um, but I think this is a perfect role for to be relevant. Not I want to say relevant like he wasn't, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Be relevant weekly, get a little bit physical, but not wrestling and
Mhm.
taking bumps and potentially hurting himself.
Right.
Or he's probably getting paid decently.
Yeah.
And he's only what, well, just like main roster, only really working once a week.
Yeah.
Probably not probably as of now not having to travel as much because they're going to go on the road.
Hmm.
Main roster compared to NXT as of now.
Hmm.
So I think this is good for him. Good for the weekly show. Um,
Absolutely.
as you're saying,
He immediately helps out with their shows every single week.
and he's just a
Um,
bad. He's a badass. That it's just
right.
hilarious at times.
Yeah.
Like the
Like
Cole situation.
I just didn't understand why WWE cut him at all. Like to me, especially on commentary, he was really good on commentary. Like they put him in any single role, whether it was a commentator, and how just freaking talking. There is not five guys I would take over Samoa Joe right
And
now, as far
I
as
heard
just talking right now.
from I don't know. I was listening to reading something that maybe even Triple H was surprised that they cut him. I don't know.
Yeah,
If I'm so
yeah.
like
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
that could be interpreted like that, but
Mm.
so I guess Triple H was pretty much brokering this deal,
Yeah.
which kudos, um, and I think this was as much as he was good in commentary. Um,
This
I
role,
liked this way better.
yeah,
He made
as do I.
it's a badass role because it's I mean it's perfect for Joe. Um,
And pretty much any backstage segment or segment in general that
yep,
he's going to like be in, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to to be good. And everything with him, Regal and Karen Cross, that was great. Like that was, I'm glad that they kicked off the show with that too. It's like, okay, we are just laying all of the cards here on the table, and let's just hammer
yep,
this out here. And man, it really opens up for some really fun possibilities here, going down in the future. And then, like, man, I mean, like between that and there was just a lot of really fun things on the show tonight. We had we obviously two with the main event, which was just insane, a tornado tag between Champa and Thatcher versus the grizzled young veterans that just beat the shit out of each other, and that table did not give
oh,
and I swear, what is it with these freaking NXT tables here?
they actually put some nails in the table.
Right. Is so I think it's pretty clear we're probably are getting MSK versus Thatcher and Ciampa probably at the Great American Bash. I would be kind of surprised if we didn't. And I definitely think we're gonna be getting new champions here. I would be kind of
Yeah,
surprised at this point.
yeah.
Um, so I'm trying to think what else happened on the show. Obviously we're with the NXT women's tag titles. Looks like that EO is going to be is going to be involved there, but we also have like Dakota Kai and like Raquel there. I could see that's when they start a story of like her versus Kai. You know, there's some like tension there. So like who knows there, but oh, the segment with Helly Knight and Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase. Will how what'd you think of that there?
I when he was being all sincere, which probably all of that was legit. Um, but you're like, okay, he's gonna turn on him, and he did. Beat the crap out of Ted DiBiase. Get the heat, and Cameron Grimes comes out. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, again, this feud is gonna continue. No surprise there. And yeah, LA Knight doing the heelish things. So
Yeah, yeah. So between that and it looks like they were getting Santos Escobar and Bronson Reed.
again, no
That's gonna be
surprise there.
happening still. Not sure if that gets on the Great American Bash show there, but are they just are they doing a single night, or is this being a
I thought it was just
two
they just.
night?
I think it's just one night.
Okay, so yeah, because currently we're gonna be getting Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly
Is there two things? I don't know. There's
um
two.
on that card, and I
Let's.
think and we
I gotta look it up.
think uh, forget forget which other match, but I think they had a second match also confirmed for that show. But um, so yeah, I mean, like honestly, I'm really invested into NXT right now, which is not something I could have said before Takeover. I'm really interested in where things are going right now. So yeah, anything else to add there as far as NXT is concerned there, Matt?
Let me see. I'm looking for that. So we got Cole and O'Reilly. Oh, I take that
Right,
back.
right.
Cole and O'Reilly. Won't finish. On, I thought he said like on. Okay, in a wrestling match. Not Cole and yeah, that's my bad. Cole and O'Reilly. Uh, on that. Um.
Oh, and something else I forgot to say too. Next week is Kushida versus Kyle
Oh yeah.
O'Reilly. I'm really looking forward for that there. So
Hey, what's your um opinion on I don't think I didn't ask you yet on
mhm.
Hit Row, that faction.
They are cool. That's the
Okay.
first thing that really comes out to me
Okay.
is they're cool. And man, I'm glad that they gave Swerve Scott
Yeah.
um
Cuz
this year, because to me this is going to really help him and his personality here, I feel.
I think and
Um
everybody else in that yeah, that
right.
they're like a
It just
badass that I like it. Badass group.
right.
Um
Also, what do you think about the charging phone or the charging whatever that they're doing?
there's really not a lot to say. It's
Right.
just
It's
been
like
I'm curious curious what that is. I'm really
right.
curious what this the diamond
Yeah, that diamond
it looks
row.
like an MMA thing with a cage.
Right.
So I'm interested. Probably Raw Underground, but 10 times better. Um,
I'm sure. Which by the way, that is going to be happening happening next week too. So
Diamond Mine.
it's it's Diamond Mine. So that's gonna be happening. And according to like Sean Ross Sapp, apparently for like next week from what he's hearing, it's going to be a very like no worthy show next week. So
Huh?
definitely am
Yeah.
going to be keeping my eye on
So next
NXT
week,
for
so we
sure.
have like you say, Kushida versus O'Reilly. I guess
Mhm.
non-title match.
Right.
Adam Cole, I guess, is in action. Frankie Monet wrestles again.
Hmm.
Uh, Diamond Mine debuts and Hit Row versus Everrise. Everrise rolls, damn it.
And they're gonna get their asses
I love
kicked next week.
Everrise is so silly. I like it.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah. And just some small other piece. Oh, Matt, and something I completely forgot that was happening on Sunday is Hell in a Cell is
oh, is
on
it?
Sunday. Yep. Completely forgot about it.
I'm I'm yeah.
Like it's like I I I look at that card and it's like outside of like Roman versus Ray and
And I missed the
even
and
that
I didn't see and I missed the bill from last week.
right.
But
It's just
even the
like
little bit that I saw, I'm like, oh, that's way better than Raw.
no, yeah.
Literally, I literally 5 seconds of what I saw was
Mhm.
pretty much better. Already know is better
Yeah.
than Raw.
Yeah. I mean
I'm
like
gonna
just like
watch it, but
oh yeah, I'll watch it too. I mean and
it
just
might.
judging by
It's gonna be one of those things that it's gonna be like, oh, it's actually not that bad of a show, but the build was crap.
shit. Oh, did you see Eva Marie's
I and watching. I
debut?
know she had I would say the Piper from I
Yep.
forget the last name from NXT UK
Yeah, yep.
wrestling for her,
Piper
which
Niven, yeah.
Piper Niven, yeah, which is funny because she's kind of continuing the oh yeah, I'm not here gimmick, but I'm here, but yet I'm not gonna wrestle.
Right.
I don't know for her.
Which is probably what they should do with
I
her.
kind of I kind of like that gimmick just for her because it continues what they left off before she left. I don't mind it, to be completely honest
No,
with you.
and to me, you don't want her in the ring at all there if like you don't have to. So
But
I'm fine with
maybe
that.
she got better. I don't know. It's been a while.
I would prefer not to see her in the ring. But as we said, the main so between our tribal chief versus Ray, we also have again Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the 10th time. It's felt like so that's happening. And yeah, like that's literally all that I really want to talk about there. So oh, and just one other piece of like wrestling news, Matt. What are your thoughts on AEW running the at the Arthur Ashe stadium in September? Like that's kind of something that we haven't seen before for a like wrestling show in on a like tennis court.
Um, I don't know how much that holds, but like, I think
apparently
it's
apparently 23,000.
really that little thing. Well, be damn.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's how I want to put this to make sense. It's big enough to be different, but not small enough that you can't. That it's small enough that it's you know what I'm trying to say. It's big
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
that it's different, but yet it's small enough you can fill it up and it can make it look freaking huge.
Right. Well, and to if like you just take a like look at it, it's like wow.
I
How has like no one really done this before? But apparently, like it's like super hard for events to like get into there because of the like city or something has the authority to basically veto any sort of like requests or stuff. I like read that earlier, which might answer why there haven't been or why WWE hasn't even thought of going there, which honestly has kind of shocked me. But I'm really interested to see how that is going to come off there. And man, we're what less than a like month away until we're finally in like consistent live with with like full crowds. I can't wait. So that a day cannot come soon
yes.
enough. But so yeah, that was our wrestling talk. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the previous UFC that happened on Saturday. A pretty like
Which one was that?
noteworthy show.
Two. Which one was that? Two.
263,
Okay.
UFC 263. Matt, he lost money again, which honestly, like that was just rough. Like I don't, I mean,
I kind of threw it together. I
yeah.
wasn't as upset, but still.
But so pretty much the main important things on the show, Nate Diaz pretty much got his ass kicked for 24 minutes, and then in the 25th minute, nearly pulled off a Hail Mary against like Edwards, who got hit and was hurt and managed to survive. And wow, and that crowd that crowd went insane when that happened. So that could have been easily have been a complete and utter disaster for Edwards there. So he wins via by like 49 to 46 via unanimous decision there. Not sure if he's going to be getting a title shot there. I really felt like that he would have been had to be completely undeniable for that to happen. I could see a fight against like Masvidal, but if I had to guess, if he doesn't get a title fight, that's probably the only other fight I could possibly see him having. And we also have like Wonder Boy versus Gilbert Burns on the Connor card on on July 10th. So that could possibly be a like winner there could possibly be getting a title shot there too. So we'll really find out things for 170 and who Kamaru Usman could possibly fight next. And in the co-main event, wow, which we saw Figueiredo versus like Moreno, and man, this was insane. I was shocked at how badly Figueiredo fought in this fight here. Like I knew it was going to be a close fight. I knew it was going to be competitive, but I mean from what I saw here, this was completely one sided here. Moreno he wins via second round submission. This was just impressive as hell. I mean, that crowd went insane. You could tell there was a large contingent of of like Mexican fans there because they erupted when the submission was like locked and obviously obviously like Moreno won, and man, it was just really great to see how far this kid has come. Like he went from basically getting like cut back in 2016. I think he was actually on the Ultimate Fighter. He got cut, and then he eventually he came back and just fought his way, and is a champion now. Like it's just like that's some like Hollywood Cinderella stuff right there. So that was really cool to see. Not exactly sure where they go with him as far as a title defense possibly. Um, I mean, I could see a like trilogy, but I also wonder too if Figueiredo can really manage this like weight cut because I think it was pretty obvious it kicked his ass and could partially explain why he was just so like not in a good state of like mind for this fight. He just wasn't there. And obviously we get into the main event and Matt, was it me or was this completely one-sided from like start
Yeah, just a little
of
bit
like it's just
from what I
like
can remember.
and, and the craziest thing is like if you recall at the end of the fight there, Vittori, he's has his hands up like he won, and like and you hear is he talking with him? Vittori thinks that he won. Hell, his corner is telling him in between rounds, and they're screaming at him, dude, you lost this round, and he's just in such disbelief about it. I really don't know what the hell that he was thinking throughout this whole entire fight. Not in one instance where you can realistically make an argument that he won a single round. Like his whole thing was, I got a like takedown. And he did absolutely nothing with these takedowns. He got one solid takedown and Izzy reversed it and got like right back up. Just piecing him up on the feet consistently. Those leg kicks of his was just devastating. His legs are just I really don't know what fight that he was watching. He was trying the same exact things over and over again, and you just heard on commentary Rogan and like Felder just like saying he's doing the same things, man, and like Izzy is just going to do what he does best, and just was just too smart for him, and like you could tell, and you could clearly tell Vittori just had no answers, had no idea what to freaking do. And yeah, so I would imagine with Izzy winning here, we probably are getting him versus like Whitaker. To me, that is really the only fight for him at this point. He's pretty much has cleaned everyone else out at this point. I do think eventually he's going to go back up to like to Hill 5, but I definitely feel like he needs to like change his body in order for that to eventually happen. So yeah, a really fun card, a really fun show, and well, obviously for the next pay per view, Matt, it's Connor versus Poirier 3, which is on July 10th. As I said, we'll find out real quick where Connor's career is going to like be like heading towards. I mean, like this is as close of a like must win for him there.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, we'll see where that goes. Okay, so Matt, let's get into some hockey talk now. So we're currently in the semifinals, which we are seeing between the Islanders versus the Tampa Bay versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the like and the like Vegas Knights versus
Hmm.
the Montreal Canadiens. Who so in both series it's tied at like one apiece right now. I'm still feeling bad that we're gonna be getting Tampa versus Vegas, but man, and more so with Tampa versus the Islanders, I feel like is a little bit more unpredictable. Even though like last night, Montreal they just they played a perfect game last night.
Yeah.
Like I just they played as perfect
I
as she could possibly play there. You
I
know.
said this last week that Carey Price could steal a series.
Mhm.
He might steal this one, and somehow get the in the Montreal Canadiens somehow get to the finals.
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility um, right now. But
Mhm.
I do think Tampa Bay does beat the Islanders, but that's another one that you
It can
never
go
it
either
can go
way.
you can go either way.
But
And I'm
man,
going out with each, but I'm saying
I
both of these series go six. One, I think one at least goes seven.
yeah. But I think the thing that's gonna really help Tampa though is like with the Islanders, they really in the postseason haven't faced a goaltender such as him yet. Like, you know, Rask isn't terrible by any means, but compared to like him, he's like a like top two or three goaltender there. So I feel like it's going to be very hard for them to score consistently there. But then again, I mean, just they seem to be the most fortunate team in this postseason. I swear, just they get goals at the most opportune times, and that's all that they freaking need. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things go now that the series is going to on the island there for games 3 and 4, which I believe game 3 is tonight as we are currently recording here, and believe that game 4 would be then on Saturday night. So
Hmm.
um it'll be very telling because to me, if
It is 1-0 Tampa Bay right now with about
okay,
8 minutes ago in the first.
because to me, if you're Tampa and if like you win at least like one of those games, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. But if they win both games there, I don't see how the Islanders can come all the way back from that, especially against Tampa. It's
Yeah.
asking for a ton there. And I'm also interested to see what the atmosphere is going to be like up in Canada, since it's obviously it is like full capacity there. Um, so how is that atmosphere going to be? How is like Montreal going to handle all of that of that pressure there? With like Vegas and going through Colorado there, I feel like that they are a little bit more tested there. So very interested to see how that's going to turn out as well. But man, these are going to be two really good series here, and I'm hoping for like Vegas versus Tampa, because to me, if I'm the NHL, that is definitely what I would want for sure. But
But
um,
you still, I mean, you got Montreal and Canada, so you have all of Canada.
mhm,
You got New York, that's a big market. Tampa Bay, Vegas, that's I think you got four good teams for different reasons. But I just for just complete talent, just craziness. I think Tampa Bay and
in the skating, that would, I mean, like it would be very similar with a Colorado and
yes,
like
and
Vegas
Vegas, yeah,
series, which is exactly what I would want there. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see how all of that goes. And it's been a pretty exciting postseason, and then after that, so we're gonna be getting into like free agency, the expansion draft on top of that.
that's
Going
going to
to
be
be very
interesting.
interesting
A
to see
Kraken.
Yep, to see who's going to be over there and which players that the Penguins are going to be protecting there as well. So yeah, and then the last thing we're going to discuss tonight is Loki episode 2. Now, this week, Matt, the whole thing here was just really trying to find like Loki's um th- I don't want to say like double ganger,
The
but like
other
pretty much, yeah,
variant in another timeline and another
yeah.
universe.
So
Yeah,
which like which I hear they're like just trying to like find out, okay, where is like and he or she hiding at, and like Loki was like, well, like she or he is hiding out on these like natural
Eh,
um
Parker.
disasters.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
he
it's
figured.
like why they can like never like find he or she there. So like between him and like Owen and Owen Wilson's character are just trying to like just do all
Morbius,
sorts
yes.
of like of like work and like research there. So
And they tried out the theory, Loki's theory at It's funny at Pompeii,
mhm,
and it's pretty much saying, "Hey, you are going to die in Italian," and the volcano Vesuvius erupts, and nothing happens. So the
yeah,
theory at that time proved to be right, and
yeah,
so they
yeah,
go into the future, 24 whatever 2040, yeah,
hmm
and they go to this. I read the case file, and I paused it because I was reading something. It was like a Category 8 hurricane, but that's not a thing. But thinking it's going to be so much bigger than
Mhm.
in 20 years. Anywho, different topic. But a big hurricane hits Atlanta, Alabama.
Yeah,
Uh,
something like that. Yeah.
Alabama. Yeah, Atlanta's not on the shore. Um, in this big supermarket department store thing, and they find the Loki variant, the other one, and it turns out to be spoiler, a female. Um,
Which, yeah, which I kind of,
I think
because
everybody, yeah, it was kind of
no,
like
no,
poorly hidden.
leaked out. Yeah, it
Um,
was leaked out.
and Loki, I say our Loki, the regular Loki, kind of goes after her through the time door thing, leaving Morbius and everybody else behind.
Yeah, and TVA behind there, which,
TVA, yeah.
yeah, so like he tries to propose to her like, hey, I'm trying to basically find these timekeepers and take them over, and the like female Loki just isn't interested at all.
So yeah,
So
she was still in the reset charges
mhm,
and like detonated them and just caused timeline splits everywhere. Like you
yeah,
just saw them branching out like
yeah,
a tree branch basically,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so that's gonna be interesting. So there's a lot because I figured there's gonna be a lot to happen in what 6 episodes, and this was 2, so we were a third way through,
yeah,
and they pretty much did it. So there's gonna be a lot of craziness happening because you have all these branches breaking off, and um, who knows if they fix everything in time, which may lead into future movies and stuff. Um, I'm in. I am interested. There was like a theory. Remember in the scene, Morbius had to sign something off, and he checked it was a pen, and they made sure we saw the pen.
right,
It was like Franklin D. Roosevelt skull or something. And I did a quick uh, research on that, and I honestly just skimmed his article just to see who they were talking about, and something with I forget the character, something with Fantastic Four ties. So I guess I don't know if that's a theory, but it whatever that pen, it was very like a vague reference. But the fact that they made us kind of
yeah.
look at the
Pay
pen,
attention. Yeah,
I don't know if they did that on. They could have just did that, just mess with us and make us like a good Easter egg. But if that's a purposeful hint for something. If it is Fantastic Four, which it is, they are coming out with a movie down the line. There you go. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, I really enjoy this episode. Um, yeah, this series has been fun.
yeah. Nothing else really happened as far as that's concerned. This was just about like trying to find the variant, and continue with that story there. I'm just interested to see with all of these of of these different time splits how that's going to
Yeah,
affect everything there.
crap is
But
going down.
yes, yep. So yeah, we'll be definitely keeping an eye on that. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much is going to do it for this week. So we thank you for tuning in. As always, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at MJ Makeup Podcast. Um, Again, we're constantly over there, whether it's MMA, wrestling. We're going to be pretty much on there every single day, or like Tuesdays, Wednesdays of eventually when I Dynamite is finally over there. And we will be and we will be live tweeting for Sunday's Hell in the Cell show. So yeah, definitely keep a lookout for that there. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in, and until like next time, this is like Matt and John signing off.